The idea of the Anaheim Angels franchise being sold was refreshing to hear for fans, considering the team hasn't had much success with the current owner, Artie Moreno. When it comes to Mike Trout, the team has only brought him to the playoffs once, only to get promptly swept and never to be seen again. And when it comes to both Trout and Ohtani on the same team, two franchise superstar players, the team hasn't sniffed October. So yeah, you can understand why the Angels possibly being sold to a new owner would bring hope to the team's fans. Maybe a Japanese Steve Cohen was going to buy the team, pay Ohtani, and do everything in his will to bring the Angels back to the postseason, and put Trout along with Ohtani on the game's brightest stage. That'd be great. Unfortunately, that isn't going to happen because Artie Moreno and his ownership group decided not to sell the franchise. I feel like if the Angels did get a new owner, whether he was Japanese or not, I just get the feeling that Ohtani would have stayed forever. Like, whoever the new regime was would have made things work out. But now, things look a little different. When it comes to Shohei Ohtani's impending free agency after the upcoming 2023 season, we're talking about a potential $500 million contract. Of course, what would end up being the largest contract in baseball history by far. The reason it's so believable Ohtani will get that much is because he literally counts as two players. He hits like an MVP, pitches like a Cy Young Award winner, and the only way he wouldn't end up doing that is if he has arm issues. He already got Tommy John though, and has been healthy the last couple of years, so that should not be an issue. You also got to factor in teams that are already planning how to go after Shohei. The Dodgers, for example, pulled their punches a little bit this offseason with moves, not necessarily making any big splashes, with many believing it's all part of the plan to save up for a big Ohtani contract come winter of 2023. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Over 70% of my watch time has been from people who aren't subscribed, so hit that button along with the bell for post notifications. Ohtani also seems like someone who genuinely wants to win. I mean, who doesn't? Nobody wants to lose, but I imagine he'd leave some money on the table to go to a winner. Not that he'll need to, because winning teams may ultimately be the ones with the highest bid. But I think Ohtani wants to eventually retire with MVP, Cy Young Awards, but also World Series championships under his belt. He wants it all. He's talked about his disappointment in the Angels and their losing ways, so I could very well see him leave if he feels it's the best opportunity to start winning. So, not just because of the money, but because he can get the chance to play meaningful baseball. So with Artie Moreno and his group staying put, what does that mean from this point forward? It means strap in because things are going to get interesting. In a recent article by MLB insider Andy Martino of SNY, according to a well-connected executive, the initial reaction in the industry to Moreno pulling out of a potential sale of the team was shocking, with many believing his decision to walk away from more than $2.5 billion made it far less likely that Ohtani would stay in Anaheim. But this is where things get interesting. As Martino went on to say in this article, quote, according to sources, Steve Cohen has already been talking openly to upper-level Mets people about going after Ohtani this winter. The Yankees were fairly aggressive in their exploration of a trade for Ohtani last July, so they can't be ruled out. End quote. With that said, Martino did go on to factor in three things that could work against the Mets and Yankees. For one, none of the 7 finalists to sign Ohtani in 2017 were East Coast teams. 2, the entire industry expects the Dodgers to make a serious run at Ohtani next winter, as I just talked about. Obviously, that won't stop Cohen from wanting Ohtani, but it's still a big obstacle in his way. And 3, Martino brings up that the Mets and Yankees, teams that are very aware of long-term luxury tax flexibility, would struggle to keep up with that goal with the $400 to $500 million that Ohtani might command. If either team is willing enough to offer that much money, it would all have to be extended over many years to lighten the average annual value. So the next year is shaping up to be really interesting regarding the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. Steve Cohen is already openly talking about it with his people. The Dodgers have been strategically planning for next winter. The Yankees seem like a dark horse that can emerge, so we'll see what happens. My biggest takeaway is pretty much the fact that nobody is out of the question when it comes to Steve Cohen's Mets. Any big name player on the market has a good chance to become a Met. Ohtani is not just any big name player though. We all know that. This is going to be fun.
This is where the fun begins.
Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.